Abora. Abora.
Abora.
Sure.
Abora.
Whatever.
Sure.
It's such an inside joke on this podcast that like really is not funny, but we make it funny.
Whatever.
Abora. Anyway, hello, uglies, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, say something gay. Gay, I'm drinking water. It's over there, whatever. I'm also drinking some cranberry juice with some grapefruit sparkling water in it, because I could, and it sounded good today.
Ooh.
Fancy schmancy.
I couldn't break out the wine yet. That's for later tonight.
Well, cool. Hello and hi and sup. I am Lana, your resident evil diva. I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I too am just drinking water because hydration is important, and I just grabbed a bottle of water. But if I was drinking anything else, something smaller, something daintier, something hotter, I would be drinking it out of my cup mug.
I tried my best. I really did.
Oh, it's cute though.
It's
Surprisingly, it came out well for me only having like two colors. But
I
like,
love it, Jack.
I'm really
Wow.
impressed with that, actually.
I don't know how I managed this. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I love it
did
though.
great, and I appreciate the effort. And so you get to go home and get your other cup.
It looks like
real.
Mrs.
Kiwi.
Potts and Chip.
It does. It really does. But you can get your cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. And I'm looking at you, all you Dragula fans around the world. Period.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided to wear one of the drag monsters that I did the biggest 180 on from their first season to their second season. It is somebody I grew to love, and that is the only Eva Destruction.
Ooh.
I grew to love Eva, I'll say.
Her.
Yes. But I am drinking. Oh, I don't have anything. I guess I finished my water yesterday, so I'm drinkless.
Oh, well, there we go.
Drinking glass cleaner.
Because he's a monster. And that's what monsters do.
And my name is Jack. I am the local college student, which does in fact mean that I sleep in a trash can 24/7. I just decided to take the like green fursuit off. It's just too much, and it doesn't pay the bills.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
You're not feeling
And
as
I am-
grouchy anymore?
Not really.
That's good.
Maybe it's just the water.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
It's something in the water, perhaps. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're back. It is episode 2 of Dragula. And last week was inconsequential, eh?
Hey.
Kind of.
Not
perfect.
at all inconsequential.
Just how I
this
like it.
Right. This was, an intriguing episode of television to watch.
Phil, here's my thing. I liked the theme this week. I enjoyed it because I used to love Garbage Pail Kids, the cards. So I liked that. And so I was like, oh, interesting thing. And you know what else was interesting? Subscribing to this channel. You should do that, by the way. You should subscribe to this channel.
That was the worst segue I've ever heard. That was the worst.
We need to get to 1.5 thousand subscribers. That's our goal.
We just rolling through it, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. So, yes. I don't care about my segue. Just do it. Just subscribe. Hit the button. That's it. Now, I like the theme because I was a Pail Kid fan back in my day. I used to collect the cards. I
Me
used to
too.
do the things. So I like that. And I think it was actually like a good thing for a runway or a stage show. It's a good idea. And I kind of liked it. I kind of liked it. I'll leave it at that. I kind of
Okay.
liked it.
Okay.
And I was wondering if Jack or Logan even knew what Garbage Pail Kids were.
Oh no, I
Okay,
did.
it's not like we're fucking children,
Oh, sorry.
David.
I just didn't. I honestly
I
didn't
mean,
know.
but they were from the 80s, so
Yeah.
don't act like you were around in the 80s.
Yeah, they were from my
wasn't.
childhood, so I
You weren't.
I wasn't
wasn't.
around in the 80s, but I do have the internet.
I
So-
also.
Cool.
We're not these like infantile children, David.
I just didn't know if it was still a thing in
it was
culture.
a thing of relevancy. Sometimes people your age don't even know what happened in the 80s. So
I'm very familiar.
okay.
I always
But you
used
never
to-
collected a card. You've never collected any of those cards.
No, I never collected the cards. It wasn't my thing. I knew
Mhm.
people that had them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never my thing specifically. My thing was always Pokemon. So like
Yeah.
I'm like, I respect all the other things, and I knew what it was going into this episode. But no, I never collected any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I was growing up, there was always like a BP gas station that sold them, and so my
Oh.
sister and I would always be like, "Can we go to the BP? Can we go to the BP?" Because we wanted to get the cards there. So anytime I see a BP, still to this day, like I have positive associations because I'm like, "Oh, the cards, the card." I'm sure they haven't sold them there forever, but
No. But yeah.
But yes, so we start the episode. We get our little B-movie intro as per usual. That spoiled a lot of things about this episode.
if you have a keen eye.
Which I don't, because I did not pay. I don't care. No.
Yeah, I didn't even realize because
They didn't spoil anything for me.
it
So-
clicked a little bit later.
So what it was, Lana, is in the intro when they're going through, they show all three of the puppets of the top three of the week
During the conjuring spell they
during
were
the
doing.
conjuring thing that was happening. So that's what it was. And then they obviously come up later and we'll talk about that. But we come into the long table room, as I like to call it. I think it's called the crypt. I don't care. I will continue to call it the long table room. Because the untucked is the cauldron, or the untucked equivalent is the cauldron. And I
Is it not the
think
same
it's-
place?
It's the boudoir, but also
the long table room.
the long table room is also
It's a room with a long table in it.
The cadaver room. You put cadavers on long tables, right?
I guess. I don't know. I wanted to see, Jack, David, do either of you have any thoughts since you were not
Not
here
worth
last
saying.
week? Okay.
I'll touch on it throughout the episode, but nothing too
Sure.
extreme. So
Sure.
the first episode was definitely interesting. Yeah. Enough queens said they had a fear of heights, so of course they were going to use something that was immediately a fear of heights.
Oh, but of course.
But
But of course.
I mean, it was chaos, and I kind of liked it. Some of the judging choices were interesting, and I still think some of the choices this season were
Choices.
interesting. But it'll get there eventually. Probably, I don't know.
Maybe. Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Hypothetically. Yeah, because I think Lana and I both had completely different top threes last week, and I definitely have a completely different top three this week. So I can already see where this season is going, and I'm already like, okay, cool. I know two of the top three for sure. It's just who's going to take the other spot.
I don't feel that way.
I absolutely feel that way. But we come in, everybody comes back in, except for obviously Satanna and JK, and they're like, okay, who do we think is going to come back? And everyone votes for Satanna. And then Satanna comes in and everyone's like, oh my God.
What a celebration.
I know. Fantasia especially is like, that's my trans sister. Like, I hope she's here. And then her celebrating specifically and very like enthusiastically, I was like, well, I know what's coming because they released too many scenes of JK in the trailer for the season to not have them here for the bulk of the season. So,
Yeah.
Boulets, you might have wanted to think about that, Boulets.
But, I mean, there was a very good reason for it.
Oh, yeah. And I love the way they brought Jay back. Let me make it very clear. But we're not going to the stage this year to get our message. We are just getting a giant flat screen in the long table room.
Weird. Never seen that before.
We've never done it that way. But I guess because they leveled up the staging, they had to take away that aspect of it. But
yeah,
who knows? But we find out that this week's floor show is going to be Trash Can Children. Definitely not copyrighted at all. No copyright here.
I am sure they tried to get the copyright for it and something fell through last minute and they were like,
oh no, I think this is 100% intentional. It's like, so how do we do Garbage Pail Kids
without saying
Trash Can Children? I even wrote it wrong on the slideshow. I did write Trash Can Kids, and it's definitely not that, but it's fine.
I don't know about you all, but I was like, oh wow, they're gonna do a Children of the Corn themed episode
because the episode was titled Children of the Can, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I definitely thought Children of the Corn for sure. I was like, oh, how are we gonna do that? Like, that feels so hyper specific.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I don't know how no, it's Trash Can Children. Trash Can Children. But before we do that, we have to do a fright feat because I guess this season we are sticking with the fright feat and the extermination.
I like fright feat, so I'm down.
I'm down for it too. I'm definitely not upset about this in the slightest.
I think it is kind of a nice way to do it with just the parallels to Drag Race being the mini and the maxi. But
yeah,
in Dragula fashion, having that mini challenge be to literally give someone else a penalty is a very, very funny thing.
And I love that they brought the curses back. I think that's a really fun twist from Titans, and I think they did it on season 4 as well. Lana, what did you think of this fright feat that we viewed?
I was grossed out. I was disgusted.
Yeah.
I wanted to puke myself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I do agree with the twist, the curse being a good twist. I think it's like make people.
That's a good twist.
That's a good twist because that makes people actually either you do it or you don't, and if you don't do it, you might get cursed. Or because me, I would have looked at this Fright Fest and like, absolutely not.
Same. I would not attempt.
I would not even attempt it. I would not even have picked up the cup. I would have walked out of the room and like, absolutely not. No. Because the second I heard somebody go, I'm done. So, yeah, I'm not attempting that. So,
valid. Mm-hmm. Valid for sure. But yes, so we are drinking a garbage smoothie to earn the advantage of giving someone the curse of the Teletubby toilet bowl. And when I tell you Kendra Onyx's lasting impact on this franchise, I was thrilled. Lana, you would love Kendra Onyx.
Okay.
I just know we're gonna get a grandmother bitch curse too.
Grandmother bitch! We should. I need someone. Could you imagine if the grandmother bitch curse is literally they just have to do whatever character they were going to do, but make them old?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I need it. I
That would be
need
hilarious.
my life. But so Israel brings in our steins of garbage smoothie, and he puts down an 11th one. As if
my
none of you could have seen
God.
it coming.
Whatever
Yeah.
could this mean?
I'm back, bitches.
And you know what? I said, good on you, JK.
I said,
I'm
yay,
glad you're back.
JK!
I am glad you're back, JK. I'm glad you're back.
Oh, I am thrilled, if nothing else, to just look at JK out of drag.
Yeah.
So,
And I want to say, like, I know we're not supposed to compare people, but JK is giving me all of the energy of one of my absolute favorite drag queens. And in fact, I saw a picture of them together this past week. It is the one and only Evie Oddly, who I adore.
they're multiplying.
Yes. So I'm just enjoying like the Dragula type of version of Evie here. So I'm really
And allegedly,
excited.
they are more similar than we know.
Well,
That's all I'll say about that. But
All right.
I love how the most annoying thing you could possibly do in a competition is come back, and JK still managed it.
and
just
not
like-
only that, the most annoying thing is to come back, be the most annoying person, start shit the moment you walk in, and then win the prize. I was just like, yes, bitch!
So good.
I love it.
I'm like, y'all so pressed about JK. All they had to do is walk in the room, and
For
everybody
what?
was pressed.
Like,
Just
for what
why-
reason?
Why are we so pressed? And that is what I didn't like about this episode. Everybody being so pressed about JK. JK couldn't say one thing without everything being, oh my God. Like Cynthia Doll got on my last nerve in this episode. My very last nerve. I don't know what anybody else might think about it. She's great. She got on my very last nerve. And I'm like, so what? He said your look wasn't the best. Okay, and but he said it was fine back when the cameras was on. Okay, so maybe he changed his mind. And so what? He ain't like it. They ain't like it. They didn't like it. And it's fine if they didn't like it. They ain't the judge. So they can't send you home. I'd be like, I don't care if you don't like my look. But JK walk in a room and everybody is so dang pressed they can't do nothing. But oh my God, I think you should have went home. Well, you thought wrong. You could think what you want.
Okay, well, I'm still here. Your last name is not Boulet. You're not Cynthia Boulet. Last time I checked.
Exactly.
Are we sure JK's name isn't Taylor Hill?
Because baby.
Now, baby, wait. I need Taylor Hale and JK in the same room. Wait.
All I'm saying is they treating JK like they treated Taylor Hale. Like every time, like JK can say nothing. But I love that JK ended up winning this Fright Feast. And everybody who was just like, just now jumping down his throat, all should be scared. Because they're like, I really ain't got no loyalties to none of y'all. So I could give this curse to any of y'all.
I love that they went around. They were like, Fantasia, you're a legend, but I can't do that to you. Neo, you won last week, but I don't think you're going to be that good at filth. Cynthia, you said I should go home. Blackberri, that's all they said. I was like, why are we bringing Blackberri into this?
Blackberri was the same one jumping on JK last week.
True. But so they end up deciding to curse Cynthia, meaning that Cynthia had to get ready for the floor show in a used porta potty. Now, on the topic of Cynthia Doll, I find her incredibly frustrating and also very entertaining at the same time. I'm like, she is the confessional queen right now for me, in just that, like, everything she says is such a like a one-liner, just a bit. She's entertaining, she's funny, but I also find her so incredibly frustrating because it seems like she's just like what you were saying, Lana. She's just holding on to this grudge of JK. What I will say is that we do know the Dragula monsters to exaggerate drama beyond what it should be to make good TV. Now, I don't know if that's what this is, but it might be a little bit of exaggeration just to get a little bit more screen time. We know these ghouls to do that. So I would not be surprised if that was something that Cynthia thought going in, and potentially also Jay thought going in.
Yeah, and I think...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Cynthia might be the person in Dragula history that has notched it up to the 11th degree more than anybody, because every little thing, even everything going on in the porta potty, even when they start playing the alarm, just her overreaction to everything. She is playing it up more than anybody, and I appreciate it. I completely agree with what you're saying. She's very frustrating, but entertaining at the same time. And last week, she gave my favorite moment of the entire episode when she said something about hummus, and it cut to JK's confessional. Did she say hummus? And then it cuts back to her confessional. She's like, I did. I cracked up when she did that.
She also gave maybe a controversial hint. She gave my favorite look of last week.
It was up there.
So I was like, I don't know. I find her entertaining. I think I'm gonna end up leaning a little bit more towards frustrating by the end of her run on the season, and that's based solely just on the character that is Cynthia Doll on this show. I think her drag is great, and I think she's going to be a character on this season, whether you want her to be or not. But yeah, I loved her, all of her, just like, what the fuck, when the alarm's going off. And then when I love that somebody went over and talked to her in the porta potty, and
Occupied.
I love that it was Blackberri. Occupied, and then Blackberry's like, well, all right, girl, I'm going to go back. I need to go finish for the floor show. And she's just like, wait can you get me a makeup sponge? Blackberri. Blackberri! It's so good. But then all the stuff in the cauldron later, I'm just like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, I want her to be entertaining without coming from my faves. That's the difficult part of this, but I think she's entertaining for now.
It hasn't reached season 4 level. Like, I love the season 4 cast, but it just got so uncomfortable.
It hasn't reached Titans level, and I'm like, okay, we're fine. Like, we haven't gotten there yet. I think it might, if I'm being honest with you. I think this season has the potential to get to that point. Especially getting to the season 4 level if we end up seeing something happen between Neo and Orkgotik. Which very well might.
By the way, did you all hear the tea that the Boulet said on their podcast this week?
No, David, because you're the only person here that listens to the podcast. But what give me the tea.
So they said that they actually cast 12 monsters this season.
Oh, I did know about this tea.
Yep. And somebody, I guess, dropped out like right before the show was about to start. Can you imagine that? They must have been very unprepared.
I do actually know who it is.
Oh, really?
I also know who it is because I am now following them on Instagram.
Ooh.
Let me pull up the link here from Reddit because it is it's a beautiful fucking story.
Yeah, it's oh my god, come on Instagram, load quicker. Come on, Instagram. Anyway, yes, I did hear about that tea. We had a lot of... I love it, too, because this person also was like... Oh, do I follow them? I might not have. But this person was like... On their story was like, I'm seeing an interesting amount of people viewing my story. So if you're here because of the 12th Queen allegation, welcome. Follow. But apparently the whole thing was this person got to the airport and showed up to the airport completely wasted and covered in tapioca pudding. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, that feels like the most Dragula thing for me. So, like, what?
I can't explain the amount of confusion that comes from that kind of tweet. How do you end up in that state?
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. I know their name is like something Gina, because I think it's a play on vagina.
Let me look back at
I
it.
don't remember exactly, but
Mimi Gina?
Mimi Gina.
Mimi Gina, thank you.
When she was supposed to go to filming, she showed up drunk at the airport covered in tapioca pudding and got put on the no-fly list. Which
that is the most Dragula thing, though, and I really hope they cast her for season 6. I think that'd be so kind. I would love that, but I didn't have anything else from the getting ready portion. So do we want to just? Shall we go for it?
Into it. Yep. Wait, I'm not ready yet.
Attention competitors. Attention competitors. The floor show is about to begin.
I love that song.
Thank you, David. Oh, and now you can see the Boulets.
Oh, there they are.
Hey, Boulets!
Abora.
Abora.
Well, and you're going to see the Boulets here again in a second. Ignore the first slide. Boulets!
Boulets!
A look we've seen thousands of times, but am I upset at it? Absolutely not.
No.
I don't know. I think this is one of their best looks they've had.
Well, these wigs are not new by any means of the imagination, but I think they're great. I'm not mad at this in the slightest. So, yeah, I thought this was lovely. They did a great job this week. Work Boulet and Boulet. So, floor show theme is trash can children. First up, I didn't put them in order. I didn't put them in order today. I didn't bother looking up the order because guess what? I didn't care today. So I said, we're starting with Satanna, whether you like it or not.
Good for you.
Thank you. David, why don't you start today? I feel like you don't ever get to start. So, David.
Well, I will be honest. Satanna was one of the least memorable of the week for me. I feel like she was very safe. Sometimes it's good to not be memorable. At least you weren't remembered for doing something bad. So yeah, I thought she was perfectly fine. I don't know exactly what she was going for here. They kept focusing on the flower on her head. So if anybody wants to inform me what she was going for here, I would appreciate that because I was a little confused. But overall, I thought she looked good. I really like what she did with her face. She is showing me that she can do more than just a pretty monster. So I appreciate that. There's still some pretty here. I'm still seeing signature Satanna. But overall, I thought it was decent.
Yeah. So this is an issue I find a lot with this whole episode. Trash Can Kids is supposed to be like immediately recognizable what the pun is. This is just Satan. Like if I'm not misreading something, this is literally just Satan.
No, it's Satanna.
Okay, Satanna. Where's the pun? Where's the joke? It's great. It at least the red is consistent everywhere, at least from the photos that we're getting. But this doesn't fit the category unless we're missing something and the name just wasn't said out loud.
So most of the names were not said. I have I think almost all of them, if not all of them, because everybody posted what the name was when they posted it on socials. So this is Skin-Starved Satanna. And so I think the idea is that she's hungry for skin because that's why she has scissors. It still doesn't make sense to me.
Still doesn't make sense.
I see your face, Jack. It doesn't make sense to me either, but that's what she's saying it is. So,
yeah, just a complete miss from me. The outfit's good. It just doesn't fit the theme, in my opinion.
That is going to be my frustration with most of these floor shows. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think... I think there are maybe 3 or 4 people who hit the theme, in my opinion. Because when they called the top 3, I'll be honest, I was very confused. I didn't get it, and we'll talk about it. But for me, this doesn't necessarily fit the theme. I do agree with you, David. I'm loving that she is doing something a little bit different. We're seeing something different from her, and I appreciate that. But for me, I think the garment itself is nice. She looks fine. But I didn't get the theme from this. So it's a little frustrating in that regard where I'm just like, I don't know what you're trying to do.
Where was the filth?
She had like the little box that she's holding. They barely showed it, but she like goes down and she's like eating skin, I think is the filth.
Yeah.
I will say I'm not crazy about how they're doing the floor show this year. I know a lot of people are very positive about it because they like the lighting, that you can see things better, but it just feels so fast paced compared to other years. And I kind of like the dark element. I felt like it fit the whole Dragula side of it. It's just a little too bright and fast paced. So I kind of miss how it was.
Yeah, I mean, I love that we're getting an elevated stage. I like that we're getting something different. I like that there's more room to play with. But on the flip side, I do wish it was a little bit darker and more mysterious. But yeah. Scores for Satanna.
I'm gonna give her 79.
I'm gonna go with a 60. It just the theme is there. It's just not readable. The outfit is fine.
I'm gonna give Satanna a 69 for very similar reasons to Jack. I just think the garment itself is good. The presentation was fine, but I'm not getting the theme from this. So
she looks damn good.
She looks great is the problem. Like I wanted this to be a little bit more cartoony, and then I think it would have fit the theme a little bit better. So next up, we have Cynthia Doll, who, according to her, is just kidding. We're gonna go back for a second. Lana, quick thoughts on Satanna?
It was a demon look. Fine. Thanks.
Score?
Are we scoring? Oh.
Yeah, we already did.
55.
That tracks. So next we have Cynthia Doll, who is her character name is Molly Method, spelled like crystal. And this is the look.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm starting first because I am from Missouri. Crystal Method is from Missouri. And of course, this queen is also from Missouri, Cynthia Doll. And there is a big meth problem in this area. And I know it's kind of all over, but when I tell you it is so prevalent in my city and neighboring cities, It really, really is. Like, I cannot go to a gas station without seeing people tweaking and just standing around, just waiting for opportunities to meet whoever they're trying to meet. It's so everywhere. And I know that's why Crystal Method chose to make that her name, because she knows it's so much of a problem and she really wanted to bring some light to that. And I think that's exactly what Cynthia was doing here. And I know the Boulets kind of had an issue with that. They thought it might have been a little bit insensitive. I see what they're saying, but I think Cynthia did not have any negative intentions with this. I think she was trying to bring attention to something that's not always talked about. It's something that, like, is almost becoming socially acceptable in some areas. So I appreciated what she brought to this, and I also appreciated that she did not do the same nose makeup, which I'm not crazy about. As far as the performance goes, I thought it was a good delivery. She really got the point across. The look itself, it's fine. It was not one of my favorites this week. I don't know that I would have had her in the bottom two, but I definitely wouldn't have chastised her for the theme. I don't know. Overall, I thought it was decent, though.
Yeah, this one is weird because this nailed the theme. It was very obvious what was happening. For me, it was hard to take brevity from this because it was played so straight.
Mhm.
That was the difficult part. I think what I'd seen was Priscilla Chambers. If we go back to previous season,
boy. Yeah.
She did a very similar thing, but, and there's a hard but here, she emphasized kind of, I think she did it for the glamour, for the end. So she made
the
very
vomit,
sparkly.
the vomit dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And taking it out of that, I think, helped. It still showed that message, but it also kind of gave it a hint of beauty. I get why this is filth and it's kind of stuck there, but maybe that's what they were talking about. It's the only thing I could catch. This being in the bottom was confusing because I don't think it deserved it.
Yeah.
Was it a little bit insensitive? Maybe. It could have been taken a slightly different direction, but for matching the theme of the episode, it was actually kind of one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very complex look, and obviously that's what Cynthia was intending with it. I think overall this was fine. I get the message. I understand her perspective of wanting to portray this. And I also understand the Boulet's perspective of not knowing exactly what that perspective is like. So I see both sides of it. I do think I agree with you, Jack. I think as far as the floor show theme is concerned, I think she nailed the theme better than I think she nailed the execution of it. I would have loved a bit more lightheartedness to the presentation of it. And I know that's a very difficult thing to do. And that does come back to, the concept that she chose overall. I think the garment she has on is actually one of my favorite garments of the episode. I think it's really cool. It seemed like her performance of this was at about a 70. And in order to fully sell the idea, I needed it to be at like 110. So
for me, it's like, if you're doing the concept like this, I don't want it to be lighthearted because this is not a lighthearted topic.
Sure.
And I want people to feel uncomfortable in the situation where this is such an uncomfortable situation. And it's people who are suffering in this addiction. And so for me, for her to lighten it up would have made a mockery of a serious situation that needed to be told. I feel like her story that she was trying to tell needed to be told because it is millions of people in this on this earth who are suffering from this addiction of meth. And it's not pretty. It's not cute. It's not lighthearted. There's nothing lighthearted about a meth addiction.
Mhm.
So I didn't expect this to be lighter. And it confused me for the Boulet Bros to be like, I needed to be lighter, or like it was too, I don't find, if you're going to do a method, meth look, it's not going to be light. It's going to be depressing. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be uncomfortable. And sometimes we as people need to live in uncomfortability for a while. We just have to live it because that's real life. Now, for this floor show, she was portraying a message. And I felt like the message, it was the perfect thing for a Garbage Pail Kid, because when you think about a Garbage Pail Kid, it's like she looks like a doll who has just been racked with this addiction. And so it's like, I was cute once, now I'm not, because this has taken over me, which is what we've seen with all the Garbage Pail Kids and all the trash things. So I thought this was a good performance, a good rendition, a good storytelling of this horrible thing. And sometimes we just have to be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It's okay to be uncomfortable. I don't like it either, but millions of people are suffering from it, and they're uncomfortable every day. So for me to be uncomfortable for 5 or 3 minutes watching her on TV is not gonna kill me. It's not gonna kill me. It's not, but it's gonna get the message that she wants to get across related. So maybe we can have empathy for the people who are suffering in this disease. So
Yep.
I thought this was a good delivery. I enjoyed the look. I think it hit the thing for me.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say one more thing just to make this a little more personal. I was not sure if I wanted to share this, but the last person I dated, it's been several years, but the last person I dated the whole time was severely addicted to meth. And it was one of the hardest periods of my life, like, because I felt so helpless. I could not get them out of that, because it's something that another person cannot help somebody kick it. The only
Mhm.
person that can kick it is the person going through that struggle, and they have to be willing to. And he just unfortunately was not. And it's been very sad to see how his life has devolved even further since we went our separate ways. He's been in jail for a few years because of bad choices made while high. But as somebody who's been very directly affected by this addiction without doing it myself, I was not at all offended by this. I thought it was a nice tribute to, I don't know, it's just to the unspoken part of the gay community, and not just the gay community, but other communities as well. So I appreciated this for what it was.
And your score.
So overall I like the theme, but for the look itself, I wanted a little bit more. So I'll give it a 74.
I'm gonna give it an 83.
Let me give her a 75.
I'm giving it a 78.
Next up, Throb Zombie as Sid Scoops.
This is my favorite look of the night. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold y'all. This is my favorite look, my favorite performance. Everything about this was Garbage Pail Kid. It was cutesy, it was fun, and then it was gross and disgusting. And it was like, oh my God, you are not going to be the ice cream man giving us da da da, I'm the ice cream man, and then scooping out your guts. I was like, you're killing me. This was my favorite look of the night, hands down.
Yeah, I thought this was incredible. Like this, absolutely fit the theme. In fact, I think she notched it up a little bit because like this really brought in an element of gore that wasn't always there with these cards. Like they were always gross, but they weren't always this gory. So I really appreciate it. Her delivery of it was great. I love they even added sound effects when she's scooping out her guts. But she still has this cutesy element to it, which really I think was the icing on the cake here for this look. Yeah, this was stunning. There's a reason that after going through Throb's Instagram, I realized he is a big contender, and he's really showing it this week. So loved it.
Yeah, no, this literally nailed the category. This is the kind of stuff I expected. It is visibly gory, but it clearly tells a story on what's happening. You can immediately know what's going on. It's sick and it's twisted, and yeah, this was my number one for the week. This was it, hands down.
They're so stupid for this. And I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. This is what I wanted. I wanted something campy and gross and disgusting and polished, and it was just this was the best of the night by far, no question for me. I was thoroughly impressed with this, and this is one of my favorite things I've seen on Dragula ever. I'm going to be honest. It's so good. They scores.
I'll give this a 97.
Wow. Shit.
This is a full cup.
Oh, baby, my ice cream cone is overflowing.
Duh.
Does Lana know Sydney the TV?
Cindy the TV is leaking.
So yes, I do know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lana's been around for that.
Okay,
but baby, it's a duh.
Duh.
It's beyond that. It's duh. So good.
Well, next up is Anna Phylactic as Anna Banana.
Okay, I have a confession. I think Anna's the one I'm the most disappointed with so far. 2 episodes in.
Oh yeah.
She just screamed finalist for me before the season started, and right now I'm like, you could leave and I would be okay. But I'm really hoping that she's going to have a good redemption story. As far as this look goes, I thought it was decent in some aspects. Like I really love the idea with the face and the creepy face underneath, but really like I think that was the only thing that this really had going for it. The look she has on is a little too clean cut for this category and for Dragula in general. She didn't do much with what she was displaying. Like, sure, she squirted some condiments, but I don't know. I kind of want to see what she had in mind because this clearly didn't go as planned. The face and the wig fell off too soon. I don't even know if the wig was supposed to come off. I don't think so.
It was not. The face and the wig weren't supposed to fall off when she did it.
Right.
Or when it happened.
Yeah. But yeah, I think she should be very, very thankful that she was not in the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the other end of the issue, this episode, where, yeah, no, this could have hit the theme. And I mean, it does hit the theme pretty nicely. It's Anna Banana, and you can immediately tell what's going on once you think about it. But
Oh, like she's the banana being peeled?
Yep. But the reveal took too long. And also, even in this initial thing, if you just look at her face, you can see the red. Like, it just, unfortunately, it's just not the best prosthetic work. And I mean, she also, I think, has her right glove. When she pulls that off, it's the same color. But, like, one of the things about the cards is they were also more obvious. They were very forthcoming about the thing. And if she revealed the whole stomach was, like, red and she peeled that, I think that would have worked. Just the face and the arm is too little, and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised she wasn't in the bottom.
I'm gonna be doing that dance for the rest of my life. Like, it was so stupid. Yeah, Anna should have been in the bottom. This was bad. I like Anna. I think Anna's lovely. I think Anna's great. This was not. This was bad. The execution was bad. She admitted it online. She was like, this was bad. I know it was bad. I should have been in the bottom. I think she literally put that in her when she posted it on Instagram. She's like, I should have been in the bottom. Yeah. I do think the dress here is constructed well. And I think she looks good in it. It's just everything else was just not it for me.
I was looking for more. Didn't get it. So that's it. It was bad. Scores.
I'm going to give her 62.
It's going to be like a 40. It's not great at all, unfortunately.
35.
30. It's not good. David was really nice.
Next up is JK.
You know what? I didn't hate this look. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it. That's it.
Yeah, I really think JK's running problem throughout this competition is I don't think that she spent as much as a lot of these other performers. I don't think they spent as much as a lot of the other performers. And I think that's going to come back to haunt them. But you know what? This show started off with such a small budget, and there was not the expectation that everybody would spend so much on their looks. So what I like about JK so far is that we're seeing a lot of creativity in their looks. And I appreciate that. Like, I kind of hope JK lasts for a while and we keep seeing these looks, even if they're a little unpolished. I'm okay with unpolished. I'd rather have something unpolished and creative than something expensive that's just a little too on the nose and boring. So I thought this was the perfect character for an adult Garbage Pail Kid. Like, I could see this being like the grown-up version, absolutely, especially with that strong arm, the jerk-off arm. Like, that's so dumb in the best way. And then just kind of the cum oozing all over. Am I allowed to say that? Are we still monetized?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm not even going to attempt to monetize this video, so don't worry about it.
Still enough time after.
So yeah, people were like, nah. I think, JK, you were good. It was not the best thing that we saw of the night, but it hit the theme perfectly.
And it wasn't the worst. That is the thing. We saw worse.
So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the photo that they posted on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And the concept is so obvious and it's there. At first, I thought it was a fisting thing. not jerking off. And it took me a
Well,
second.
Julie.
It did take me a second, but the only other confusing part is why have the headgear? That's the one thing that I'm like, if you take
what?
that off, the headgear, it's very light. If you look in the
Oh.
second image,
Yeah, I
right
see it.
above the lips, I understand why, because it once again brings it down to a teen, but also it's a really hard read unless you have the rest of the headpiece. And I really do prefer the version that they have on Instagram where it's black hair with white accents versus fully white hair.
But isn't it supposed to be with the magazine stuck to it?
It is,
What?
but they do have it stuck in other places on Instagram.
It's also stuck in several places on this
Right.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the because it's sticky magazines. Yeah.
I think you two are talking about two very different things, because I think
Mhm.
David is talking about the newspaper thing that's on the head, and I think Jack is talking about the literal braces headgear that they are also wearing.
Oh, yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah.
If you look at the top, if the top
Oh.
right one, there was, because that's supposed to be the child element of it.
Oh, okay.
I do all the one thing that I really like. The pieces of paper are also JK. Just in
So
like the
it's-
most erotic shoot.
It's photoshopped, like porn images of JK fucking JK.
That's great.
And when I say that Cummy Carl should have been in the top, what about it? This was one of my favorites of the night. I thought this was executed so perfectly. This hit the theme for me in such a JK way that I was like, I got it immediately. I do now kind of wish maybe it was a fisting thing. I think that concept is actually a really fun concept. But I loved this. I preferred this to the other person that did a similar thing, and we'll talk about them. But I thought Jay's was really well executed. I think the way that they did their makeup in the redo shoot that they did on Instagram is a lot better. But I think this was one of the ones that nailed it on concept and nailed it on execution for me. I feel like Nicole Byer nailed it. Scores.
I'll give JK an 85.
I'm gonna go with an 83.
I'm going to give JK a 92.
I'm gonna give JK an 80.
Wow, Lana.
Okay.
Next up, it's Derby Debbie, aka Onyx Ondyx. This is the last week that I can say Onyx Ondyx like that. Onyx Ondyx.
There are things I like about this for sure. So the main criticism that Onyx seemed to get is basically, without saying it, we're not getting your brand. I feel like that criticism is not being passed across the board to everybody in this competition. So it does seem like there's a little bit of a specific nitpick for Onyx that I don't think is necessarily fair, especially after 2 episodes. Like, that's not enough for us to get a really good idea of Onyx like signature style. With that said, I don't know. I thought this was another one that was just kind of fine for me. Like, there was a world where this could have been safe for me. I don't know. I was looking forward to what Onyx had to show this season, especially I wanted to see some of that circus element that we never, or the freak show element that we never really got. And maybe that's their fault for not really leaning into it, which I think is what the Boulets were expecting, and maybe that's why they were being hypercritical from that angle. But overall, I did think this was cute. I mean, I don't immediately get Garbage Pail Kid from it though.
So it is funny you say that, seeing how this is actually one of them that's directly pulled from a card.
Yeah.
Derby Debbie is, I believe, an actual Garbage Pail Kid card.
I think so.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was honestly fine. It got the concept across really fast. It was over extreme. The thing is, at first, I thought this was Cynthia. Because I can kind of see the branding thing. I can't. If you didn't tell me that this was Onyx, I could mix it up for a lot of other queens that look like her on the cast. And I mean, she said there was going to be some sort of stunt element. Being on one roller skate, I don't think counts. So if they had added some sort of stunt to this, like maybe, I don't know, one of the, like a smaller one of the spikes, like being on their helmet and them just removing their arm. I don't know, like something like that to exemplify their drag would have been nice, but it's a good look. It just, where's Onyx?
I think it's interesting that they kept giving this critique to Onyx, because I think they pigeonholed Onyx into thinking that they were one type of performer. And she came in and decided, I'm going to give versatility, which is literally what she's talked about on social media since the episode has aired. She's like, I wanted to give a wide variety of looks to show everything that's going on in my head, not necessarily what I auditioned saying I was. And I think in that regard, I'm a little annoyed at the Boulets for pigeonholing her into something that, and she wanted to show other things. We've seen that happen on several other seasons of Dragula, and they've let them do it. So I don't know what it was about Onyx. It felt like they wanted Onyx out immediately. It's kind of the way that I saw things, which is unfortunate. With that being said, this was my least favorite look of the week. I don't think the leg gag made sense, and Matthew Lillard even talked about it in the judging. Which we forgot to mention Matthew Lillard and Landon Sider were here, which was like lovely. But he was like, I don't know if I get the story. And I didn't really necessarily get the story. Why is one leg wrapped up? But then if that's your leg, then how are you standing on two legs? The story of it all didn't make sense for me. I didn't think the performance was all that cohesive. I think the makeup is good. And the garment fits more Garbage Pail Kids than a lot of others.
See, I got that the leg was somebody else's leg, because roller derby is violent, and I think that was her victim's leg.
Lana, you're muted, Lana.
Yep, I agree. I knew it was her opponent's leg that she was having, but her other foot, like, she just taped up her other leg because she got beat up in the process and lost the skate. But she won the war because she got the other person's leg and took their skate off with the leg. Like, I get it, but I guess it wasn't. I do think it was a bit confusing. The look was confusing, but I understood it because I got it, and I'm smart like that. But I don't think this was a successful look. It wasn't my favorite look, but it definitely was a garbage pail, or as they say, trash kid look. It just wasn't. It just didn't read on the runway, so it didn't translate.
Of course.
71.
I'm gonna go with a 70, and one thing that had come to mind, if she just wrapped her leg in, like, black or like tried to make it disappear, and that was her leg, that would have been perfect. I think that would have brought the look up instead of having a big bandage. But yeah, 70.
30.
Ooh, I'm not that mean. I'm gonna go 60.
Fantasia, Royale, Gaga. I don't remember what her character is called, but I did see it, and I thought it was a really funny name. And I'm stalling to where I can pull up the video. It's Nip Tuck Fanny.
Okay, that's cute. Yeah, I like that she's showing us a different side of her this week. Do I like this? Not a lot. Like, this was not one of my favorites this week. I don't know. It felt like kind of tame in most aspects. Like, even the gore and the blood, like, it all looks so fake to me. But I hope she sees this as a good starting point and just keeps upping the level of I don't know, gore, and just leaning into the whole Dragula of it all. But for me, yeah, this could have been low for me, to be honest.
Yeah. For me, it felt basic, and I really love Fantasia, but I would have loved to have seen. I mean, it does fit the card theme. It's just looking around at everyone else. It's just bloody, and I can't necessarily see the filth. That's the main issue for me. It's like, out of everyone, I think this has the least amount of filth, but I still like it. So it's a weird balance.
Muted.
Logan, you're muted.
Yes.
I thought this was fine. This definitely fits. I'm not surprised that Fantasia is doing a look like this, knowing who Fantasia is as a drag artist. There was filth. I think she's like eating intestines at the end. I think that was like the filth element to it. But I do kind of like that it's still like polished in a weird way. I thought it was fine. I would have just left her at safe, but probably on the lower end of safe for this. But yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was. I think with the style of drag that she does, I'm not surprised she went this route with it. It's still her. It fits her, but she's still trying to fit the Dragula theme of it all and give us the horror of it all. And yeah, I think the filth was the eating of the intestines, the blood coming out. And sure, it might not have been the best execution of gore and having the best blood, whatever, but I think it was perfectly fine. I got the story right away. I knew exactly what was happening, so I didn't have to think about, oh, what is this? Like, I wasn't confused, so it was fine for me.
Oh, I just got it.
Oh,
Okay. I'm just re-looking at the video because I was like, did I miss that? It's a muscle. She doesn't have any skin, and
Right.
like it's.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
It's a skin skirt.
Oh.
Okay. That's actually really good then. I like that.
Scores.
I gave her 69.
That's fitting.
I'm gonna go 75.
I think I'm gonna match your 75.
I'm gonna one up your 75 and go 76.
Wow.
Not Price is Writing.
Yeah, I'm $1.
$1.
Yeah. $1.
Next up, we have Jizz and Jarvis. That's literally the name.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this was an interesting one for me because when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I get it. You're a sperm. And yeah, it seemed like it works, but I don't know. I wanted a little bit more. But the thing is, like, the more I saw her performance, especially they do the montage where like near the end of the floor show where everybody's like really going crazy with whatever filth elements. And I thought he really stepped. I know I corrected myself. I thought he really stepped it up with the performance. Like he really leaned into all of the sexual aspects. We had the dick, we had the jerking off, we had all the fluids all over him. So I thought while the look itself was a little bit, I don't know, on the nose, I guess, he really amped it up with the delivery of it. So he won me over near the end.
Yeah, that's essentially where I'm at, where it is kind of funny to have two different jerking off looks in the same episode, unintentionally, of course, and they're two very different styles, but both playing off the idea of porn magazines and all that. I think it worked out fine, and this does feel very campy and very over the top, and I do really, really enjoy that. So it's good, and I mean, I definitely think there are some things that beat it, but this feels like it wouldn't have won the episode because we have other things coming up that, oh fucking Lord. But I think this would have, depending on how other things played out, it would have been safe or the top for me.
I thought it was good. I said earlier I preferred Jay's to this, but I do think this was a solid concept. The execution was good. I think this was the best performance on the floor show that for me of the night. The look is on the more basic side, but I definitely get it, and I don't need it to be any more elevated than what it is.
Yeah, good. Basic look, great performance. That's it.
Scores.
80.
I'm going to go 77.
80.
I'm going to go 75.
Next up is whatever the fuck this is from Orkgotik.
It's hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoid-gotic?
Hemorrhoid-gotic, yeah.
I was low-key obsessed with this. I thought this was so clever and so gross. Like, this really feels like it could be a Garbage Pail Kid. Like, like these are some really great facial prosthetics, and just the way like it moved. It was not stiff at all. It was something that like felt very like it felt like organic material with how he was moving it. And just the pus coming out, like it gave me all the worst imagery. I'm kind of obsessed with Orkgotik. Yeah, this is so good. And then the icing on the butt was the extra hemorrhoid on the butt, because they always come in pairs, right? At least two. So I like this a lot.
Yeah, no, this also nailed it. And I mean, literally just starting with the head shape being completely correct and matching it, and then also being able to immediately know what was going on. Like, it's that kind of snap, and it's like, oh, yep, it's that, and I hate it. But just, once again, Orkgotik is amazing in this competition, and I want to see what they continue to do moving forward.
This isn't my favorite. I don't get the theme from this, if I'm going to be honest. I think it's an interesting concept. I think the concept is really strong. And then what loses me is the execution. The entire middle portion of this garment, I think, is abysmal, personally. It is a piece of fabric wrapped around his body and something to cover the body. I think, for me, it feels like he put almost no effort into the garment, and the only focus was on the face, which I get is the point of it all, but it feels very disjointed for me. But I think the performance of it was fine. I wouldn't have had him in the top. And based on the fact that he was, I am convinced he is going to be at the end of the season because the Boulets are obsessed with him. So, not to say that that's not going to be deserved, because if he does well, then it's going to be deserved. But, I mean, I personally wouldn't have put Orkgotik in the top either of the first 2 weeks. But that's just me.
I like the look. I get the look. I understand what it's about. Is the garment great? Not really. But his performance was amazing to me. And it hit the themes. It was gory. It was filthy. It was gross. It was disgusting. Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. I might have made it a high safe. Maybe not high, maybe not in the top 3, but definitely one of the better ones.
Of course.
93.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact about the garment does actually bring it down a little bit for me. 85.
70.
90.
Next up, Bussin' Bertha, a.k.a. Blackberri.
Yeah, I thought this was good. It fit the theme for sure. I don't know. There's things I would have done differently. I would have really liked to see her be eating her little pus balls, like popping them and then eating them. But
Didn't
yeah,
she?
I mean, she was eating stuff, but I don't think she was pulling them from her own body. But I could be wrong. Yeah, it was good. I think this was very safe though this week.
I did actually really enjoy this one. It's very much in that same level of camp. I think once again, this one is directly based off of a card that does exist. Yeah, ultimately the lesions on the skin, well, the berries on the skin, I would have wanted to possibly see her eat those, because I think the end effect of her puking up all these poisonous berries, I think it came from the basket or just like on the sides. I really did enjoy this though. This I was shocked wasn't high.
And when I say Blackberri should have been in the top 2, what about it? This was fantastic. So the concept was eating poisonous berries. So the lesions are not berries. The lesions are boils because she's poisoned and then they're poisonous.
Yep.
Okay. With that being said, I thought this was one of the better ones. This for me fit the concept 100% without a doubt. And Blackberri keeps getting looked over 2 weeks in a row now. And I'm angry about it. And I'm going to be more angry about it if she does not get the respect she's entitled to.
She was on top last week.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, she
Yes,
was.
she was.
Yes, she was. But she got looked over this week.
Yes. And I think this week's look was better than last week's look. So I definitely think that she shouldn't be getting looked over this week. Because this is a good look. It was very much reminiscent of a theme. And I think the performance was well. I liked it.
Of course.
77.
I'm going to go with 80.
90.
88.
And last up, we have Neo. I don't know the name of their character. I don't know what it is.
Let
Pregnant
me see
spider
if I can
person.
find it.
Pregnant
I
spider
don't-
woman. Well, David, talk about it till
Yeah.
they find it.
So I'll just say it. This is my favorite look of the week. Like I thought as a look, this was incredible. One of my favorite things I've ever seen on Dragula. It was stunning. The execution was amazing. I was like obsessed the entire time I was watching this. Do I get Garbage Pail Kid from it? No, I really don't. But I do get something else from my childhood. This would be a cover of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It absolutely would be that. It fits that theme perfectly. But I don't care. She was still in my top 3 because this is so good. Like this is just the execution here is flawless. Like even I don't know how she got her little stomach vagina like quivering on its own. Like I don't know how she did that. It was mind blowing. This is so good.
Yeah, this look was stellar, and I think it is very indicative of how Niohuru will do on this entire season. Prosthetics, the hair, just that prosthetic piece on the stomach, and then her pulling the leg out. That's why it specifically reminded me of Scary Stories, because of that one story of the girl with a spider coming out of her pimple, which I don't know if that's what the inspiration was, and it was just kind of attributed to the wrong thing. It feels like it almost went a little bit too dark for the kind of cards, and it needs to be brought back up. But still, holy shit, this look is amazing.
I think this is a good look. I don't think this is flawless execution. And I think specifically you could see the flap of the stomach in the back and it wasn't covered. And I don't think her execution has been 100% perfect either of these weeks, I'll be honest. This completely missed the mark as far as the category was concerned for me personally. I'm going to give respect to the look because the look is good and what she put together was good. But there were a few sloppy moments for me, and this did not fit the theme at all for me. So I'm going to be honest, I would have had her in my bottom 3. I wouldn't have put her in the bottom 2. But it missed the mark for me. But the garment itself is fine.
I mean, it did hit the thing, but I don't think it was a bad look. I wouldn't have put it in the bottom 2. I would have had her in the bottom 3. If anything, she would have been safe or high safe, because I think this look itself is a beautiful look. Like, she knows how to make it look good, and she executed it. Did she have some flaws? Yes. Some technical flaws? Yes, sure. But still, the concept of this was beautiful and well thought out and well put together. I don't think it's a Garbage Pail Kid look. It's definitely not that, but it's still well put together. And I think she has a real, like, her skill is amazing and is going to do some damage in this competition. I just feel like we go see her for a while because it's good. But for lack of theme, it's going to be down there for me.
Of course.
Based on look and delivery, my cup is full.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with an 82.
60.
85.
Party. So we get our results. We find out that our top 3 is Neo, Orkgotik, and Throb. And there's no banner for the winner, but the winner of the floor show is Throb Zombie.
Yay. Deserved.
Yeah,
Deserved.
100%. I think it was
Deserved. Deserved.
the correct option.
Deserved. we end up with a bottom three of Anna, Cynthia, and Onyx. And up for Extermination is Cynthia and Onyx. Not what I would have had, but
Yeah. Yeah, I can't understand Cynthia being in the bottom here. Onyx is also a hard read for me to see as much in the bottom. But with Onyx, I can at least understand that it's like the branding is kind of a nightmare. But still, I think there were other people who could have been in the bottom over at least Cynthia.
Anna should have been in the bottom. Anna should have been in this Extermination against Onyx.
Mhm.
Should have been Anna. Anna Phylactic.
I agree.
That one. That part. And I love her dearly, but she should have been in the bottom for this. I don't think it should have been Cynthia.
I agree.
But our Extermination is transferring maggots and larvae with your mouth 8 feet away into a beaker. How beautiful.
Ew.
That's
Ew.
that's what you should expect, Lana. That's the level of
Ew.
that's the level of what we got.
Ew. I mean, ew.
We did ask for more filth exterminations to be back.
We sure did.
Unfortunately, they did it.
Who
We sure
asked for
did.
that?
They were
We
like,
did.
"Are you sure you
Why
wanted
ask
this,
for
you
that?
dickhead?"
Anyway, I didn't ask for it. I know we all said we want to skip over something for time, but I don't want to do that because I really was mad about this. This was the one thing that I was mad about this whole time.
Me too.
And I don't like the bully mentality of this whole thing. Like JK walked into the room and because he's safe, everybody mad. And everybody decided to pile on. Oh, well, you should be in the bottom. Well, you should be in the bottom. Well, you should be in the bottom. And they got to defend themselves against everybody in the workroom. And then to be told, why don't you just stop talking because they don't like what? Are you go first of all you go jump on the person and now you go tone police and tell them they can't be mad about it and stop
Right.
talking? Like what? It was
Yeah, and then go up to them and be like, I'm doing this for you to help you out because of no, that's not who you're supposed to call out. You're supposed to call out the person the people that are being inappropriate and that are bullying. You're not supposed to call out poor JK. Like, I thought that was extremely two-faced of Throb.
Oh yeah.
That was my least favorite part, was Throb just being kind of fake to JK, because I know what you were doing. You were telling JK to shut up. You were
Right.
not doing it to help JK out. You were doing it to pile on because everybody else was doing it. And then when that was the straw that broke the camel's back and sent JK to the corner, then you feel bad and you try to spin it and make it sound like you were trying to help them. I did not appreciate that from Throb. I love Throb. I did not like that moment.
I didn't like that moment at all because first of all, how you go tell a grown person how to respond to being picked on and bullied by everybody in a room, and then you go tell this person you should just stop talking. Like, no, absolutely not. And then how do you expect them to respond when everybody is like, you should be at the bottom. You should be at the bottom. And it was so frustrating, and it was like everybody was piling on. Everybody had something to say. One person said it, and it started the ball rolling. All of them should be ashamed of themselves. That is not fun TV. That is not right. The mob mentality is not. They sheep, and I'm like, that's not good TV. That's not good drama. And everybody keeps saying, well, people like to over exaggerate the drama. That's not good TV. That was so. I was ready to turn it off at that point. I was like, this is so stupid and childish and ridiculous because you don't like one person and you mad that they back, and then now that they're back and they're safe, you like, well, you should be go. I don't want you. And then Throb, you don't. That bothered me to my entire soul. I was like, I don't want to bring stuff up that people don't want to hear all the time, but I'm bringing it up anyway because that's who I am. I'm just that person. I don't like this white woman, and I know she go by he in drag, but she's still a white woman, and I don't like this white woman telling this black man to be quiet and go sit in the corner. I don't like it. I don't like the white man telling no black man to go sit in the corner and stop talking. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but with that person, that man had every right. They had every right to defend themselves in that argument. And for you to sit there like, you should just stop talking. And I'm doing it for you. I'm trying to help you. That rubbed me the whole wrong way. I was thick after that. Thick. But that's it. That's all I had to say.
Well, we do the extermination. It's gross. And to nobody's surprise, really, Onyx gets exterminated.
We knew she was go-go. The way they were talking about Onyx, I knew it was going to be her.
And we haven't heard "There's the Door, Bitch" from Cynthia. And that's the big giveaway. They mentioned that in the podcast, so I've been waiting to hear that line.
And they, I did like this death scene, having the puppets of the top 3 of the episode killing her. I thought that was cute.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, I think they were expecting an Eve style performance, Hollow's Eve style performance from Onyx, and when they weren't getting that, gone. And that's really unfortunate, because I think that Onyx had a lot to show, and it just... No.
Yep.
But someone had to be the first actual person to go home.
Sure.
And that's where we leave it.
Yeah. That is that. And we will be back next week. Same time, same place, different panel to talk about Dragula episode 3. Thank you for joining. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you've made it all the way through the video and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Hello? Huh?
Hello.
Huh? But go subscribe, hit all the buttons that say you support us, because we appreciate your support so much. You can go down in the description below. You can find all of our social links at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow the 4 of us on socials, and you could also go get your merch, including but not limited to the Cup mug. So,
Ooh.
Sure.
And it's only $7. You don't even need to draw it yourself.
Limited edition.
Limited edition Jack hand-drawn cup mug. Anyway.
On the other side is me crying.
Oh, good. And on that note, cheers.
Cheers. Abora.
Whatever.
Grandmother bitch.